in our mouths and whatnot. It's already. You gotta give me time. You are way too quick on the clink draw, Jarrod. We've got to talk.
We
Your
were
Warriors
running
come out to
behind.
play.
We were running behind.
We were. I'll put that on me because why not? Leadership and something. Everybody, hello, welcome. Come out to play. It's a podcast that we're doing and stuff. It's something like this podcast. Subscribe to LONGBOX CRUSADE online. I'm laughing that I don't feel like looking at the script because I had forgotten to make the script last night. I was so tired, dude. I had gotten finished with Transformers Chronicles. I'm like, I got to do come out to play stuff. And thankfully I'd already read the comic book, but I had come up with the Twitter stuff, come up with the StreamYard to create this and whatever. I was like, whew, I'm done. And then I woke up this morning I forgot to make the script. And now I don't want to look at the script.
Well, you and I both got some traveling coming up real soon, so we've been a little hectic, but we made it.
Man, got some traveling coming in, so that means that I come in. I'm going into work because we're supposed to go into work 3 days a week. So I've been in Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday.
With a lab.
With a lab. Hello, everyone. Matt Passo, Jamil, Trey Black, Jason Lady, Scott O'Neill, Doc Strange. Welcome to Come Out to Play. I'm Delvin.
I'm Jarrod.
He's Jarrod. Do you have a question for me and stuff, dude?
I do, and it should be relatively easy this evening.
I hope.
Out of left field to me because I didn't realize these things were connected, but this issue we're going to talk about has some Heralds of Galactus.
Mm-hmm.
Who's your favorite Herald? You can punk out and pick Norrin Rad if you want to, but we can say if he's your favorite, then tell me who your second favorite is.
I mean, I've seen Terrax a good deal, but for the visual alone, it's probably Firelord, just because he has a staff and it shoots fire.
Sweet Lord.
That's cool. And his costume is the color of flame. They went all in on the fire motif, and it worked out very well. Hello to Heinz Cook. Thank you for coming. What about you? Who's your favorite Herald of Galactus?
Firelord. Yeah, I was gonna say Firelord. He's just kind of cool. Always easily recognizable. It's one of those happy marriages of character name and design, just goes really well. You see me, Firelord, Now
there's an irony, Terrax was an easy choice. That's what Doc Strange picked, by the way. But if you think about it, Terrax was available at the start of New Warriors 1. And you know what that means, right? It's okay, we can afford it. You're gonna he's disintegrated, you're gonna bring him back. This silly team of teenagers. That's okay. Because I'm sure at the start, Fabian was probably and then Firelord's gonna come in, he's about to take over the planet, and it's pew 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 pew. And it was we give you Terrax, and he's
it's Pawn Stars. Best we can do is Terrax.
Best we can do is Terrax. All right, that works. Hello to Linkovich as well. Thank y'all, everybody. By the way, Jason Lady says, great question. I think Firelord, even though he's kind of a doofus who picks fights with everyone, he has a hot head, literally.
He's a galactic level hero who took an L to Spidey because he just pissed him off too much.
Yep, he destroyed too much stuff, and Spidey's I gotta shut this down now. Whack, 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 whack. And Firelord's wait, no, stop, I wasn't ready. Oh.
Wait, time out. I get
and wait, Matt Passo did go with Terrax, but then said, wait, Cosmic Ghost Rider, who I didn't even know was a Herald of Galactus. So, we don't really appreciate you making up heroes, Matt.
Mm-hmm.
It's frowned upon here at Come Out to Play. Didn't realize you probably should have known that. Before I get to boilerplate, it's a good time to remind everybody that 25 years ago to this day, Jarrod Albrecht was commissioned into the United States Air Force. And that means that he and him alone, old as hell, like just ridiculous. Cut out all of that old-ish, Jarrod. You should be ashamed.
That was even our key detail.
No further questions. Come out to play is a chronicling of the 1990 series, The New Warriors. The first volume of New Warriors ran 75 issues. Old Jarrod over there and I will cover all this first volume as I rediscover my love for this series and help Jarrod find his. Grab your skateboards, your bucket helmets, your infamil. It's time to
your Flex All 454.
Your Billy Blanks tapes.
Hey! Stop.
After you stretch. Stretch, of course. Yes, got those hips ready. Oh man. Yeah, we are going to be talking about New Warriors 40 tonight, y'all. And cover credits go to Derek Robertson, Larry Malstead, Jarrod. Let's talk about the cover once you bring it up.
Whoop. Okay, here we go. It's Nova. It's a lot of Nova. Nova's flying big and bold and in the background in black and white. I believe we got some Firelord and some Rage and
you got Rage, you got Firestar, you got Silhouette, you got Namorita, you got Speedball, and you got Night Thrasher.
There you go. That's everybody. They play around with the New Warriors font a little bit in this one. It's still the new Warriors font, but they make the bold word Warriors transparent, so you can actually see what's going on through it, which is a neat look. It's all highlighted in yellow, as is the Marvel Comics logo in the top left. And in a fuchsia across the top, it says the Starlost Part 1. I do know that this cover was available two different ways. The standard way with the blue and yellow, and Delvin is currently holding up the blue and gold version where they did the gold embossed because it was the 90s.
It was the 90s, y'all. Yeah. What do you think about the cover, man?
I think it's cool. Like we say a lot on G.I. Joe Chronicles, the best show on the network centered around a toy line. We like to say that it really hinges on how much you like the character on the front. It's like, if you're a Nova fan, this is going to be a banging cover. I mean, just aside from that, though, artistically, it's pretty cool. I like the black and white choice in the background that really makes him leap off the page. I think I like the transparent Warriors lettering that you can see through. It's very unique. It especially plays nicely in the gold version. But what do you think?
Man, I've mentioned it a couple of times. This is about the time that Derek is just in his bag when it comes to these covers. And this is one case, like not in all cases, but the gold embossing, it pops, man. It looks so doggone good, and it made Nova stand out. It made the Marvel Comics logo stand out. It makes the New Warriors logo stand out, and then they even framed it in gold too. So like it was absolutely lovely. And then I also like the black and white drawings of Firelord and the Warriors too. And I like the black and white planets that are up there too, because it just looks like Nova's like Superman or something. And he's just like traversing the doggone universe right now, which, as we know, Nova isn't that powerful, but like at least this Nova isn't that powerful anyway. And so like, but still, like the graphic and the image of the cover to me is absolutely fantastic. Let's see. We had a few comments. Scott let us know, by the way, the Cosmic Horse guy, I guess, which was supposed to be Cosmic Ghost Rider, mistakenly said by Matt, was Stardust. The only Stardust that I know is the WWE performer Stardust, who is now the present WWE Heavyweight Champion, Cody Rhodes. In any event, Courtney would love that comment. I don't know. Well, Matt Passo will too. Matt Passo likes it.
Is he the son of Dusty?
Yes. He's the son of Dusty Rhodes.
Okay.
They had a whole storyline concerning him finishing the story of winning the championship that his dad never did, and he finally did a couple months ago at WrestleMania. Anyway, let's see. Matt Passo, who we just talked about, says, I completely overlooked the black and white arts, and seeing that actually bumps my thoughts up. And Scott O'Neill, I didn't appreciate it as much as at the time because foil emboss, 90s tacular cover. But I love what Derek did with the black and white characters. Really do too. Eric Porter, welcome. Says the comic is great. It was here I learned more about Xandar and the Nova 70 series.
Exactly what's happening with me here.
Me too. Hand raised for certain. Let's see. Tony Pennington chimes in and says, I never enjoyed long-haired Nova.
Long-haired freaky Novas need not apply.
You know, I have always, like, I remember as a kid, like I went to a magnet elementary school. And so it wasn't just neighborhood kids. And I grew up in a predominantly black neighborhood. So it was like white, black, different nationalities and everything. And like, so like a lot of the white guys had like, they would have like the hair, like maybe the Bama bangs going over their hair. They'd have to do this, you know, and I thought it was so cool. It's like, I wish I could do
So, Delvin.
So like I see Rich Rider in his 90s mullet going on, and I'm like, I wouldn't mind being able to do
my hair
that.
has never been longer than probably it is right now, by the way. Never in my life have I grown it.
Would you let it?
The question is, would Michael Albrecht let it? And the answer is no.
Big boy now. You know what? Never mind. I'm not gonna. Next night I get a text. What did you say? Nothing, sir. No. Hold on. Let's see. Matt Paso also says, I'm not a big Nova guy, but the subtle additions for the rest of the team and Firelord just add it to me. Let's see. Anything else? Let's see. One more. Jim Meal. I pulled one of these issues while I was bin diving and found a copy signed by Malstead and Derek Robertson.
Oh, yeah. He texted me that. I forgot. Jim texted me that. I think it's this issue, if I'm not mistaken. He was like, dude, I found it like in a dollar bin and it's signed by both of them. I was like, he pulled a signed Namor signed by John Byrne. Namor #1 signed by John Byrne in that dive too. My man's on fire.
That's a heck of a dive. I'm jealous of that too. Like, you know, that's the comic book equivalent of. In any event, 1 to 10 nightsticks. What would you rate this? You know what? I'll go first for the first time. I usually wait till last. I'll go first. This is a 9 for me. Like the black and white really does it. If they would have just had Nova, then it would have been like, okay, that's about 7 or 8. That's pretty cool. But like that black and white just is so pretty to me. Like, and that you're able to tell who it is. Like, and you help me out, Jarrod. Is this more of Derek sans colors, or is this more Derek and inker, or is it more inker?
Oh man, this is probably a really good combination of the two. I think Derek gave him a really good layout, but the inker had to really come through, especially on those speed lines and getting all that right. That's ruler work. That's ruler work right there. So I bet you Derek gave him a really nice tight drawing on the cover, and I think the inker really stepped up. Hard to say with that background work how much. You know, and this could be too. This is just fun speculation. This could be too one of those ones where Malstead drew Nova, and some other artist with no credit drew that background. It could be.
Maybe
it's one of those things. It's hard to tell because you could overlay that real easily. I'm not casting aspersions. I'm assuming it's Derek, but it definitely is interesting. It could be a lot of things, but yeah, it definitely a good harmony between him and Larry.
You know, I'm pretty sure that nothing that we say here is going to diminish the legacy that Derek Robertson has set. Yeah, man. So yeah, you rated it. I rated it.
Actually, I didn't rate it.
You didn't rate it?
I know. I'll give it an 8 as we see it here. I give it a 9 with the gold.
Okay. Yeah. You like the gold too?
Yeah, it works. It works the lettering better. I think it doesn't matter as far as Nova goes, but the lettering and the border you pointed out, really nice.
Yeah. And this to me is probably signing as of right now that the Warriors clearly have to be one of Marvel's best-selling books, or a book that they at least wanted to amplify because they gave it that gold embossed treatment. You know what I'm saying? Because I'm trying to remember who. I mean, they did it with. I know Spidey. I think they did it with Avengers. Do you know any other of the gold embossed covers? Definitely X-Men. I know X-Men.
Must have, yeah. This was about the time they did the glow in the dark Ghost Rider cover, which was great. The Mark Texura. A lot of gimmicks here. You know, and I just feel like, and maybe this is why, but I feel like there was a sort of a resurgence for Nova at this point. Like Nova was becoming more of a talked about Marvel character again. Might have been thanks to New Warriors. Might have been popping up in some other stuff. Might have been thanks to his appearance in the role playing game, which was popular at the time. I don't know. It just feels like Nova was kind of having his moment. You know, he was like Hansel. It's so hot right now.
So hot right now, Nova. Let's see. I saw Matt Passo gave it an 8. Trey Black, we hadn't said hello, Trey. Swiss cheese memory tonight. Welcome. He says Hard 9. You spelled it out beautifully. Rich flying out of the cover. The contrast of Rich in color versus the black and white. The silhouettes of the Warriors. Awesome cover. And some people just reminding us, like Jason Lady at Infinity Crusade had the gold embossed cover. That's a special event. I could see them trying to, prop that up a little bit. And Scott O'Neill says, Darkhawk 25 had a great red embossed cover around this time. I remember it. He was shooting out the rays from his amulet, and that was the cover. And Trey Black says, Thrash had a full cover. I think he did. And Tony says that Rich looks like he put on about 20 pounds of gain since issue 1. You know, hopefully he's been eating a lot of protein at Warriors HQ and maybe some creatine back in the day. But creatine was seen more as like steroids, even though it's not. I digress. Jarrod, would you like to read the cover credits? Or not cover credits, credit for the issue?
Certainly, sir. Creators of this issue are as follows. Well, it's important to remind the audience that we are doing New Warriors number 40. Its on sale date was August 24th, 1993. Cover dated October 1993. Cover price $1.25 for the regular cover. $2.25 if you want the gold, because he loves gold. Stories by Fabian Nicieza, pencils by Derek Robertson, inks Larry Malstead, colors Joe Rosas, letters is Chris Iliopoulos. And this is it. They even welcomed him on the creators page, which I thought was very nice. Edited by Rob Tokar. Thank you, Mike's Amazing World of Comics.
All right, it is synopsis time. But before then, and I'm glad they mentioned it. You got to give me a minute or two, Jarrod. Trey says, by the way, did everyone hear about Thrash being in the new Avengers lineup? Yes, I did. Matter of fact, I need to go ahead and hit the old subscribe button to that. He's going to be on an Avengers team that has like Captain America and a few other folks in there. And so I'm definitely intrigued. Maybe it's one of those, I'm looking for any vehicle to launch a new Warriors like comic with him leading it. It would be great if it's like, I don't like the way you run things, Cap. I'm going to form my own team. And it's like, that's in my imaginary world. I also read the end of the Night Thrasher miniseries. It was 4 issues. And it ended, I thought it ended well. Like I brought it up on the New Warriors chat. Some people were disappointed by it. Most people, I think the majority, were pretty pleased at the way things went. They, just like we were talking about with the New Warriors coming out and them not throwing anyone huge in there, they sort of did the same thing. But the whole idea of it was to establish a base of operations again for Night Thrasher, and his city of choice is Harlem. So it was like, there's meat there if they wanted to continue to build on this storyline. So like very much like Hell's Kitchen is Daredevil's, Harlem seems to be Night Thrasher's town, as well as Rage, who called himself the OG, and Silhouette. Like they ended with them on a splash page, like, let's go fight crime. Yeah. So it was good. And so it's good that Thrasher is getting, to use a wrestling term, the rub, and it's getting put into the Avengers book. So we'll see. I'm hopeful. It's a cool time. Like, I guess comic books are always like this, where, hope springs eternal. Like if you wait long enough, some creator is going to come up with that book with that character that you like. And comic books are so, I don't even have a good word for it, but, circular, revolutionary. I don't know. What goes around is going to come around. It's just like fashion or fads or anything like that, right? Like, you may as well hold on to your clothes from the 90s because they're in fashion now. Like, a couple of decades ago, the 70s came back in fashion again, right? Joust, I was going to say my Auburn's men's national championship shirt, but no,
that's recent.
War Eagle. But yeah, I think the same way with comic books, to where, I think a lot of Warriors fans waited long enough, and somebody came and had a affectation for Night Thrasher, and it came to a book, and heck, now the guy's going to be an Avengers in an Avengers limited series. So we'll see how it goes.
Maybe he'll be doing your thing where he's like, I don't like the way you lead. I'm going to make my own team. And Captain America will be like he was in the beginning of New Warriors with Marvel Boy, just being like his robe with his cup of coffee. You're like, all right.
He's like, hold up, first, stop these mechanical arms. You can't, can you? Are you even a telekinetic?
Well,
I'm bye. All right, let's do a synopsis real quick. The title of this book is Power Tools. The very oversized and quite insane Garthan Saul has arrived on Earth in search of Nova, who has the last sliver of the Xandarian core that Garthan, also known as SuperNova, does not possess. SuperNova feels he should have it all and needs it all to truly preserve the heritage of Xandar. What does this mean for Nova and planet Earth? All right, we're about to talk about the book. Jarrod's going to bring up some images. We're going to talk about those images, and a discussion forms between me and him and the audience, and maybe some people talking to themselves and stuff. Like, yep, I'm able to squeeze my face in just so.
There we go. The first image I took was a double page spread right after the opening page spread, which has got a lot of yelling and angst and teeth involved. But yeah, this book really kicked off kind of like a Claremont X-Men book to me. I was like, I have no idea what cosmic stuff am I going to have to check out. But Fabian did a good enough job of sort of filling in the blanks, and I'm like, okay, I think we're doing some Nova history here, and kind of quickly got to the point that basically the whole core is gone except for Nova and this cat here, SuperNova.
Yep. And this is really the first time that we have done a deep dive on Nova and his history. Mm-hmm. Like, the character Rich Rider that everyone knew as Nova came about, he didn't have his powers, and somehow Dwayne Night Thrasher knew how to activate him by dropping that mofo off a building and scaring him into having his powers again. But we haven't had too much of a deep dive other than him sort of saying, I'm going to go back to my roots and wear a costume that befits and honors the Xandarians. He's mentioned that before. But like, other than that, like, this is kind of the start of like a deep dive of talking about some of the experiences Nova has gone through, and not only just Nova, but the planet Xandar as well.
Yeah, it definitely put me in mind of, I think it's a 2001 movie called The One with Jet Li, where it's kind of coming down to these two guys. And I like the way they've done it too, because or the Highlander, it's reminiscent of that. And either way, I like the way they've done it, where they've said, hey, this, like, SuperNova is very in touch with his powers and all of his abilities, and he's at this point in this moment clearly more powerful than Nova, and he's mad about it. He's like, why did this coward get to, Xandar fell, this guy's off doing whatever the hell he wants, so it's kind of neat that you kind of get his motivations too. So yeah, it's interesting.
And the one thing that's worth mentioning is that Garthan, he has taken all of this power and it has consumed him. Like, he's like, as Fabian mentioned from the very start, like, he is not rowing with both oars in the water. My man's is a little cray-cray. So it's maybe power corrupted. No, definitely power corrupted. He, was probably a soldier in the Xandarian wars, just like Nova was, just like Rich Rider was, but like, he took on too much power, and now it has completely driven him mad. Let's see. Couple of comments. Eric Porter mentions SuperNova appeared in Avengers 301 through 303 before being lost in time. He reappeared here. So great continuity there, Eric. I would not have known that. Let's see. I saw Scott O'Neill with a comment. And so let's see. He just said, I haven't read any of Nova's old stuff when this came out, but Fabian made it so easy to still follow the story. I agree. He did a great job with that.
He did.
And
yeah. I was ready to give him the Claremont stink eye, but he pulled it off.
And one more. Jason Lady says, you can see all of Supernova's teeth. The Zendari and Dennis do good work.
And here we are on the next page, and guess what? Teeth.
But I'm sorry, Jared, go ahead.
But yeah, this time it's Nova himself. He's got wrapped up in Asylum, right? Who's kind of like Cloak from Cloak and Dagger. And she kind of got wrapped him up in there, gave him, one of his worst memories, which I think was losing all the Xandarians. So yeah, it's all coming together in a nice little package here. Fabian said, hey, if I get him to fight this person in the book, we can reveal that this is one of his biggest his regrets and pains, and that we can use in this story. So all brought together.
Very good idea. He's worried about. I mean, the general word would be loss. He is worried if he ever lost his powers, he feels like he would be nothing without them. He's worried that, or he's traumatized by the loss of his powers originally. Through means that he never wanted in the first place. And he's worried about the potential loss of his friends and family as well. So he is a man who is plagued by loss. And if he didn't have his powers, he feels as if he would not be able to help his friends and family the way that he would want to. That thought terrifies Mr. Ryder. Mm-hmm.
But as we know, the Nova Corps has an excellent dental plan because both B and Supernova cavity free.
Probably a little better than TRICARE, but I digress.
Okay, why did I pick this page? Well, let me tell you. I don't remember. We get this is a very Nova-centric issue throughout, and we get a good little time of him with his lady friend, whose name I've forgotten.
Laura Dunham.
We've seen her kind of in the background in some previous issues, and he kind of gets to go on a date with her, and they have a very mature relationship because he's able to sort of talk through this. Hey, this girl at my work, sexy fish girl, I know, she made some moves. I'm not sure how I feel about it, and it was just kind of neat. It's so typical in comics for relationships to be like, well, if you're going to kiss her, I'm gone. The very typical high schooler thing. This one's a bit more mature because they both are like, they dig each other, but they don't know if it's relationship time, and, they're working it all out. And I thought, well, that's, it's refreshing to see.
I agree. It makes for an interesting relationship. I mean, and he was, completely honest. Like, yeah, it wasn't just a kiss. It was a kiss. And I might like her too. And it's like, and that's where it left off. But then there's also that underpinning of where, she really is like, I'm convinced you don't have a car. It's like, girl, he ain't got no car.
He does not have a car.
Come on. How many dates y'all been on at this point? He said something about like, oh, you don't want to see my car. It's like, because you ain't got no car. And I give Nova credit because he had the responsibility to just not reveal that he was, like, Richard did not want to reveal that he was Nova for any number of reasons. To protect his friends, I'm sure, to protect his family, I'm sure, and to protect Laura a little bit as well. But Laura liked him enough where it's like, look, I like you. Maybe you're hiding something, but like, I can take it, so tell me the truth. Or the way that she put it was very good. And if I could read that fine print on the screen, I would, but I can't. So I'll get it from the comic book. If these pages want to turn. She said, all you have to do to be straight with me is to be straight with me. Know what I mean? Like, she probably didn't say that last part like Vern Troyer, like I did. But not Vern Troyer.
Ernest.
What's his name? Ernest.
Jim Varney.
Jim Varney. Thank you. Yeah, but yeah, you're right. It was a very honest or organic relationship that they had. And so even as he's running away, it's like, I can't tell you, you don't want to know, but I gotta go. And it's like, come on.
Yeah, all the clues are here now.
Yeah, it's New York City. He sees danger. He's running away in a hurry.
He's running towards the danger.
As if there's something he could do.
He always seems to be able to be places on time with no car. Come on now. You know,
Yeah.
maybe that's why he has, well, I mean, there's an obvious attraction to Naima Rita. She's very attractive. And they've flirted a lot, but he can be him. He can be him.
Yeah, he can be himself.
Doesn't have to hide his identity. So that's probably a big part of the attraction with her. That and the scent of Captain D's. I just assume she smells like Captain D, which is great.
You never leave her side. It's like, oh, there's something about you. You know, until somebody came along smelling like Taco Bell, and then anyway. And Matt Paso mentions he's Spider-Man, and I'm smiling at that a little bit because some of these beats were kind of Spider-Manian, to completely make up a word.
Mm-hmm.
But I think that Fabian at least handled it in a good enough way that you weren't like, okay, this feels like a just complete Peter Parker knockoff, because it's not. It's definitely Rich Rider.
Spider-Manian. I'm gonna look that up with the source here. Oh wait, it's got a Parker-esque. Hey, I want to welcome Kathy to the chat. She just got here, so start over.
New Warriors. Go to the next page.
All right. She did just show up though. Okay. I think I just picked this page because it's kind of cool and it's SuperNova heading to town and kind of making his mark. I didn't quite understand what they were talking about with the tubes and the globes. It lost me a little bit on that. It's was that the remains of Xandar or something?
So yeah, Nebula, the space pirate, basically, I don't know how. I guarantee you somebody in the comments is going to let us know. But yes, that was the remnants of Xandar. And it looks like while Nebula knocked Xandar out or down, didn't knock them completely out. But as of right now, there's really only two Xandarians left, and that's Nova and SuperNova. It looks like something is transpiring, at least to the degree that, let's see, a nutrient cloning bath was activated.
I saw that too. This is where I got a very Claremontian. I was like, I'm trying to keep up, but I'm a little. I was with you until here. I pushed through it though.
It was a little bit of a let's go to the planet that is, as far as we know, dormant, been wiped out by Nebula. Looks like things aren't as completely wiped out because somewhere in the Xandar, on planet Xandar, there's some computers that started up, and there's been a nutrient cloning bath that started. As to what purpose?
Some kind of rebirth, I guess, is happening. Is this Nebula the one that's represented on screen as like Thanos' daughter? Is this the same Sydney? Okay. Just wonder. I figured it might be.
It is. Hello to Bot Boy Versus. And Jason Lady says Xandar got jacked up a couple of times. Their world ended up being preserved in a bunch of interconnected globes. Okay. Then Nebula came along. So
they're really just like, it's like two kids, Marvel and DC, taking a test, and Marvel's like looking at DC's Green Lantern answers and being like, okay. Because the Nova Corps is very much the Green Lantern Corps.
How dare you?
They have very similar storylines. Like, remember when Hal got all the rings of power and it made him mad? SuperNova's got all the power and it's making him mad. But hey, this was before that. This was before that, though.
It was. It actually was. So man, it's probably one of those where Marvel and DC sit in a room and Marvel's like, and DC's like.
Which we are talking about two companies that made Swamp Thing and Man Thing like a month apart from each other. And the two guys who created them were roommates. Were literal roommates.
It's like, who came up with it? Me. I totally did.
So, what the hell was I talking? Oh, I was probably gonna bring up a new page unless people had something on this one. I think we got some help from the chat though, which is always nice. Helping me understand the interconnected planet of tubes. Things we can say on our live streams that don't come up in regular everyday discussions. All right, let me move on. All right, so then things got real confusing for me because I'm like, wait, these Heralds of Galactus, what are they doing here? And then somehow they have some sort of Xandarian connection as well, because like the Xandarian beeper went off or something. So I guess these guys were originally from there. Is that what I'm learning?
That is correct. As
Okay.
Eric Porter points out, Fire Lord, and Airwalker are Xandarians, even though they are Heralds of Galactus. So, I mean, as you know, much as Galactus pulled Nornrad from, was it Zenla? How do I remember that?
I don't know, but it sounds good to me.
Yeah, pulled Nornrad and turned him into the Silver Surfer. He clearly pulled a couple of folks from Xandar and turned them into his heralds as well. One of them being Fire Lord and one of them being Airwalker, which apparently this is not the original Airwalker. This is like the sentient form of Airwalker and an android or something.
Yeah, just to make it more confusing. But you gotta love these two guys hanging out, you know, when they show up somewhere. He's like, I'm Fire Lord and I'm Airwalker. Gotta work on that name, bro.
It's like tapping into Earth's database. I'm Air Jordan.
Something.
And everyone's like, oh,
anything's an improvement.
I saw you on Space Jam.
I love Space Jam. Okay, so we got some, like you said, Xandarians.
But basically, Jarrod, like, I mean, in that there are heralds of Galactus. You know, they have power cosmic. So
right, these are up there dudes.
So that plus Xandarian, you know, and they sensed a disturbance in the force, as it were, of where they're like, all of the power that is left of the Xandarian Nova Corps is now in one place, which it has not been. And what they basically really sense is that SuperNova had come out of the time stream where he was and has come back to planet Earth.
Gotcha. I can drop a little bit of knowledge that Fire Lord was Xandarian. He went through the rites of passage to get these powers. Those rites of passage were called
Midnight's Fire. One more joke. Scott says when Terrax joins them, they are Earth, Wind, and Fire.
That's hot. Fruity, get the car.
I saw a joke coming. As soon as you're like, there's like this gleam in your eye, like, yeah.
Your radar went off early. All right. Let's go to the next page. I have this one and then two more. This is basically them squaring off and SuperNova getting, who I'm not convinced has a nose, by the way, getting Richard's goat, getting him fired up so much so that something interesting will happen on the next page.
Yeah. You get to see the scope of how Nova was overmatched from the start. And he even admitted, I give Nova a ton of credit. It's bravery, man, to go into a battle that you know you're not going to win. Like, he's like, this dude is like 10 times my size and looks like
Jake Paul in it.
Except SuperNova, you know, didn't fake like he had some sickness or whatever to delay that fight. It's like, yeah, anyway, so I give him like, and he, of course, he told Laura's like, I hope she had speed dial. I hope that she didn't use a rotary phone to call.
That was funny.
Yeah, because I'm gonna need some help.
I kind of hope that wasn't a rotary phone. That was an excellent bit.
but he absolutely jumped right into the fray to try and figure this thing out. And what I also like about it is, welcome, Pat, by the way. I like that he sort of talked a little bit about the history too, to where if you think about it, these two are both warriors from Xandar, except one thinks that his role was much, much more important than the other one, and he's trying to diminish. It would be the equivalent of let's say a 4-star general trying to diminish my service. It's like, well, dude, yeah, I mean, I've done what you did, but I served, man. Like, like, so you can't just take away my service. And so that's, to me, what SuperNova was doing to Nova.
Yeah, he's displeased. Like I said, on the next page, Nova kind of reveals, at least to us, an ability we haven't seen him do. He kind of almost does a what's it called when Johnny Storm
Nova Burst.
Nova Burst. Yeah, he kind of does all that.
Ironically enough,
does a huge energy pop, which leaves him quite exhausted, but actually gives SuperNova a little what for. So that'll be interesting to see if he can learn to use this in the future.
Yeah, absolutely. I think they call it a gravimetric pulse. And it was enough that while it did not fell the giant, it definitely stunned him. Joe Rosen, a little bit of a miscolor there because that looks like Nova's doubled over, but that's supposed to be SuperNova in the upper right corner. But yeah, it was definitely something worth watching because even Nova's like, what the heck did I just do? But he pushed him so far and he was so emotional, like being between events that happened with Asylum, probably a little bit of what happened with Laura as well. And the fact that he's already facing overwhelming odds. And then the dude who he's fighting is basically goading him about his heritage and his past. All of that triggered something that Nova didn't even know that he had.
Yeah, I wonder if it's a miscolor or Jason Lady mentioned misattributed speech balloons. We do have a new letterer, so that might be the thing. The balloons might need to be pointed a different way, or bad coloring. I don't know that's bad coloring because he's got long hair. I don't know that SuperNova has long hair.
According to Scott says they got roasted over that top right panel in a later letters page. If I see that, then in a later letters page, I'll talk about it.
I mean, we all know what's supposed to be happening. It may be the letterer is new. It's his first one. I was just going to compliment him too because he added a lot of gravitas because SuperNova is so okay.
I'm good.
He had a lot of gravitas because SuperNova is so large. He even made his lettering larger as if he had a booming voice, which I thought was really good.
Mm-hmm.
And I agree with Jason Lady. That top right panel, that's Rich Rider. It's not a miscolor because of that hair. So it's misattributed word balloons.
We'll find out in a couple of months.
Yeah,
I mean, I could go and open up a letters page, but I mean, wouldn't that spoil it?
I suspect it's word balloon. Anyway, doesn't matter. Everybody makes a mistake every once in a while, except for me. Hamilton versus Burrow Werewolf's Tale is mistake free. All right, actually, there is a page that I don't like, but I'll point that out to you guys at a later date. Let's move on to the last and final page, which is my favorite page of the book. It's an excellent cliffhanger. These guys should write for Flash Gordon serials, or Zorro's cliffhangers have been pretty decent lately on Saturday Matinee Theater, to plug another show. But this was kind of neat because they have the Cosmic Awareness Fire Lord and Airwalker, Texas Airbender, show up, and the New Warriors are like, hey, what's up? And they're like, well, we got to talk to you about your boy Nova. He did. It's like, what the what?
Yeah, we got to talk about Nova. What about Nova? He did.
It's like, wow, okay. Spoiler alert, I don't think he's dead, but it's definitely an interesting place to leave it.
I mean, he may be more dead than you think. Like, what he at least did between the last panel or last page, excuse me, that you showed in this one. So Nova and SuperNova were fighting after Nova released that gravimetric pulse. Then SuperNova was like, okay, I miscalculated your power. And if I am to take that sort of power from you, it could wind up basically disrupting the electromagnetic field of this entire planet. If I took it from you, unwillingly, you need to give it to me willingly.
Oh, okay, right.
And so Nova said, well, and I thought it was extraordinarily selfless of Nova to say, but Nova said, hold on. He said, I can't fight you anymore. Not much of a choice. The people I care about are more important to me than the things I care about. Take it. So he willingly gave that power to SuperNova to make SuperNova like the one person that's housing all of the power of the Xandarian Nova Core. And it looks like, at least as far as we know, at the end of issue 40, this sacrifice cost Nova his life. But in doing so, he saved the Earth in order to do so. So,
yeah, same thing happened to Superman too.
if it is Nova's last hurrah, he did go out heroically, and Matt Passo came up with the same conclusion you did. He said so SuperNova is now Oa, so he's still on the Green Lantern thing.
Green Lantern tip. Yep.
I thought I saw Superman instead of SuperNova. A couple of comments from Scott O'Neill says, reminds me of the issue during Nothing But the Truth, where it ended with Thrash disbanding the team. Reading monthly led to a lot of anxiety back then. And then he says, Nova had done the Starburst before, back during the Forever Yesterday storyline from New Warriors 11 through New Warriors 13 against the Lady Sphinx. Fans are constantly asking in the letters page about when he would do it again.
I don't remember that at all. And I read that.
I don't either. I didn't either. I mean, it's been a while since those books. And technically, those books occurred in a altered timeline anyway, that they eventually got the Sphinx to change back. You know, anytime the Sphinx comes around, timelines seem to get messed up. It's kind of a Sphinx thing there.
Right.
So, where are we? We had a big old dude named SuperNova come. Nova tried to face him alone before the Warriors got there. It looks like SuperNova has killed Nova. And I guess we're going to see what happens after that point. Do you have any ideas or thoughts where this storyline is going to go? You're on mute, Jarrod.
If Jarrod was writing it, I would have SuperNova not be able to control the amount of power he now has and have to release it back into the universe, which will recreate the entire Nova Corps. It will go to people, just like the Green Lanterns, it would go to people who need it and deserve it, and the Corps will return. That's what I would do if I was writing it.
I mean, you've really got to stop this comparing Green Lantern Corps and Nova Corps. They're
two different things.
They're entirely different things. Okay, interesting thoughts. Like, we'll get to stick a pin in that and just see how this goes. I don't know how many issues the Starlost is going to be. I don't know if it's 3 or 4. This is about the time where things are a little bit hazy for your boy Delvin here concerning the New Warriors. But I know I like this issue, but we're not at ratings yet. Take it away.
Because we got to talk about the Ultimate Warrior and the Ultimate Worrier. Who do you think acquitted themselves well as a warrior, and who do you think you're a little bit worried about? And I could see it being the same person in this one, and you're nodding, so take it away.
Yeah. The Ultimate Warrior was Nova. And yes, the person I'm worried about is Nova, because apparently he dead. And like, I like Nova and I don't want him to be dead. So how is he going to be not dead? That would be a good question, to banter about. I can't tell you at this point. I don't know what's going to happen. We will see in a few issues, I guess, what happens to Nova. But I mean, those will be both of my answers. I love how he fought here. I love how they have done, like, consider Nova in issue 40 as opposed to the Rich Rider we met in issue 1. He was kind of a jock, kind of a jerk, kind of that Jim Bro guy who wouldn't really want to talk to because it just seems really shallow, that kind of dude. And this guy had gravitas. He was concerned about his friends. He was concerned about his family. He absolutely admitted he felt that without his powers that he is nothing. He went on a date with Laura Donham where he was absolutely open and vulnerable with her, at least as vulnerable as he possibly could be. And then faced insurmountable odds and wound up apparently dying a hero's death. So all of those are amazing things and definitely deserving of Ultimate Warrior. Do you have anything to add to that?
Not really. Someone way earlier in the chat, and I'm sorry, I mean, it was a long time ago, so I don't know if I can find it scrolling. Might have been Trey. I don't know. I'm guessing. It mentioned that they did launch a Nova solo series about this time, and that this played around it. And it goes back to what we were saying before. Nova was just had a good moment in time here. It became popular again, and I can see why now. This was a big piece of the puzzle, and yeah, it's going to be fun to read because I like Nova, and I agree with you. I've liked watching him. We always knew he was sort of the most veteran of the team.
Yep.
And it's almost like he was shirking that, and I'm just going to be a cool guy. And then I think somewhere along the line he realized, okay, they need me to be the veteran of the team, and I got to do that. I can't just be cool guy anymore. And yeah, pretty cool.
I mean, it's somewhat of a spoiler, but not really. In that one could almost say, and we'll see what Scott O'Neill, like the most venerable Warriors fan in the chat, but we got a couple others good ones too. You could almost say New Warriors, a 6-year plus run, you could almost say that this was a Nova redemption story. And you're 40 issues into it. We got 35 more. You'll see what I mean. Just keep that in mind. And this issue, like you can tell, like, I mean, they always do this in team books. You have to spotlight one character at one point to advance it. But Nova seemed like a prime candidate to do that, didn't he? Like a little bit more than Namorita, who's now gone away and she's had her share of mistakes, or Rage, who is a little bit too young and not enough history, and Speedball, whose history is kind of a little bit kooky. The one hero that the Warriors had that meat to him was Nova. So therefore, a lot of stories can spawn from Nova and Nova's history.
Kind of like a little reward for the older readers, older than us, guys who read Nova in the 70s. They say, if you're going to use him, bring him back, make it worth my read. And I think he's done that. I think he's reinvented him in a fun way where I would think someone maybe 10 years older than us would go, oh yeah, Nova's back. And I like what they're doing with him,
Yep. Let's see. I'm going to start a few comments and then I'm going to read a few comments. And then we can rate the book. Let's see. All right. I start 7, and I don't think it'll take very long. Scott says, Nova's power helmet will seek out a worthy bearer and end up in the hands of a young comic book creator named Kyle Ray. Hey. Stop it. And he then gave Warrior to Nova.
Yeah.
Then he was worried about Asylum, who literally never appeared again and nobody noticed.
Oh no.
Speedball was like, did I kill her? And they're like,
so the answer was yes.
Maybe you did, Speedball. Matt Postle says, Warrior, I appreciated Speedball standing up for himself and saving Nova. And because I don't want to give the title to the same person, Warrior is definitely Nova. Jason Lady, that inadequacy regarding not having powers is the root of all of his jerkishness. Great characterization by Fabian. Scott O'Neill adds, the Nova series launched out of this storyline has some really solid art by Chris Marinan. I probably butchered the spelling on that last name. I actually think you may have just added an R, but I don't remember. And I actually wasn't that crazy about Chris's artwork in that book.
He makes a really good spaghetti sauce.
And last, Pat says, here's what I think happens to Nova. Someday you will find him caught beneath the landslide in a champagne supernova in the sky.
Block.
If you check the end of last episode, I already made that joke. So you're a month late, Pat. But I did think it because I mean I love that song. So did our buddy Alan Mayer, who graduated and got commissioned the same time you did, but
That's
nobody
right.
else.
Well, nobody else is that old. Nobody we know.
All right, rating time. 1 to 10. What would you rate New Warriors 40, Jarrod? And by all means, everybody, please provide your ratings in the comments so I could read them.
It was a bit of a roller coaster for me because it felt very Claremontian, and there were some things I was like just a little too out there, but I just guess there's a lot of history that he had to cram in here. And in the end, I think he did a good job cramming in the history and still making me care about the story. I say that to say I will give this an 8.
I'm with you. And even though this is an action film face-off, that will be a match game. I think it's a good start. I am intrigued. Like, where does the storyline go when the main hero of the book dies? What do you do? And like, looks like the bad guy has ultimately won. And heck, a lot of times they do that in the penultimate chapter of like one of these series. And like in part 1 of the book, Nova has fallen. SuperNova has risen. What the heck can the Warriors do about this? They do have 2 Heralds of Galactus on their side, apparently. But what does that mean? And how does that manifest? I don't know. But I guess we'll figure it out. But very good start. And I hope that you like this as opposed to, like Nova talked a little bit about his past and about his fallen comrades and stuff. But this isn't as heavy and entrenched as to say the Trans-Sabal storyline.
Right.
was.
Now we're definitely on a path back up, in my opinion. But yeah, no, I enjoyed it.
Yep. Let's see. Scott, I do remember this, but it's worth mentioning. A lot of classic Nova readers were not happy with Fabian over the long hair grunge version. Eric Larson's Nova series was basically a means to tear down everything Fabian did with the character. And isn't that horrible? Like, it's not like you think that he did some terrible things with Nova, and I assure you, he did not. Fabian did nothing but add to the legacy. So I like Eric Larson a lot, but I hate that he retconned and attempted to retcon it.
I get it from the fans because this is, let's be honest, this book is very, very 90s. Like it's very 90s. We were laughing about the hair and all that stuff. And I could see that if I was a classic 70s Nova fan and I saw him it would feel tropish. Like, oh, I see you're giving him the hair and you're making him, grunge is popular. So I get it. It's one of those things where now that we're 30 years on, we can look back and go, oh, it was a cool sandbox to play in. But in the moment, I probably, me, I'd be a bitter old, I am a bitter old comic book guy. So I get it. I get why they would not like it as much, but no need to tear it down. I have never read the Eric Larson, so I can't say there's no need to tear it down. You can play in that sandbox and make it fun. Look no further than Devils do G.I. Joe, where they just got in Larry's sandbox and made some awesome stuff.
Yeah. Matt Passo adds, kind of like Hal versus Cal. Hey, shut it down. A quick addition, Jason Lady said, Warrior Rich, Warrior SuperNova dude is out of control and has all the power like He-Man. It's a couple of ratings. Matt Passo says, as much as I am lacking on the Marvel Cosmic, I give this one a strong 9. Jason Lady says 7, knocked down from 8 because I feel like more could have been packed in there. Felt a little light.
What? What? In the entire history of Nova, they're not trying to keep up.
And let's see. Eric Porter says it's a 10 because of Nova's heroics and Nova-centric arc and the gold cover. And let's see. Jason Lady adds, Nova was nowhere until Fabian came along. He took 5 characters no one was doing anything with and made them stars of this book. Absolutely, as we well know. That was the appeal and one of the reasons that I love this series as much as I do. Well, ladies, gentlemen, that is the show. Come back and join us for next episode where we discuss New Warriors 41, where Nova's dead. That's it. That's the whole book. Okay, maybe a little more happens too.
Funeral issue, I can.
And then Speedball's talking about flower arrangements, and Rage gets mad and he crushes a tombstone. Let's see.
We did forget to mention that Rage totally what was her name? Sprockets, that hardcore. I don't find her particularly fun, but neither did he. He was like, I've had about enough of your crap.
Yeah, you ain't my drill sergeant. I'm about to drill your beep into the beep and the beep.
Man, for a 13-year-old, he's so salty.
Hey, I've been 13 years old. That's the age where you can't tell me what to do, even though I literally never said that to my parents. They would have killed me. Anyway, you can find us a lot of places, us being the Longbox Crusade. YouTube's one of them, but podcast-wise, Apple Podcasts, Google Play, most podcatchers to include Spotify. If you look up Longbox Crusade, you will find us. Twitter X, Longbox Crusade, as well as Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube. We have a Patreon feed. You can join our Crusaders Club at only $1 a month. We give away a lot of free stuff, y'all. And we really just love having you along for the ride. We're at 46 strong right now, and I'm 47 now?
I think it's 47 now.
We just keep sprouting members. So which is awesome. 46.
We quit our day job soon.
Yeah, that's the hope. We multiply it by a couple orders of magnitude. I am out of here of work. Anyway, please join up on the Crusaders Club. We're grandfathered into Patreon. I think new folks have to do $3 a month. We're still doing $1 a month. So come join us. We'd love to have you. And by the time we get to 50, Jarrod and I are going to have to figure out some movie to watch as a reward for all of the Crusaders Club members. I didn't. I gave Zardoz a suggestion. I suggested Zardoz.
Maybe we'll let the Crusaders Club tell us what we got to watch. We did Corman's Fantastic Four. We did the Star Wars Holiday Special. You torture us, we will watch it. We have 50 subscribers on Patreon.
And much like the Zendari Nova Corps, love those outfits. You can email us at contact@longboxcrusade.com. We also have a voicemail that you can leave us a voice message about this show or any other show. 707-532-5269. That is 707-532-LBOX.
Pick up the phone.
Pick up the phone. Jarrod, where can you be found?
I can be found on X, Facebook, Instagram at Yard Sale Artist. You can check out my artwares at www.theyardsaleartist. I'm talking to the people in the live chat right now. If you're going to Heroes Con this coming weekend, come find me. I'm at Artist Alley, table number 210. I know Kathy just sounded off on the chat. She was planning to go. She's had some rough medical times lately, and she needs to rest up this week. And we will miss you, Kathy. But everybody else, big party. Don't tell Kathy.
Wait. Big party where? Where the party gonna
be? Don't worry.
You can find me at DE_RAY1977 on Twitter, and you can find me at Delvin Ray on Instagram. See y'all next time. And remember, be a hero to someone, even if it's just to yourself. And until next time, new warriors, come out to play. Yay!
See everybody.
Good night, everybody.